alternative on?
We're whispering. Take you ready to go. Because I'm
Here at B&K Air Conditioning and Heating, we service all brands of AC and heating systems. We are a Goodman and a Manna A+ dealer. We also install and service mini-split systems. We always do our best to offer same-day service even on the weekends. We service Gatesville and all surrounding communities. We offer financing on new systems, change-outs, and major repairs. Just call or text your service request to 254-216-3372 and we'll be happy to help you.
All right, here we go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the fifth quarter show. This is our kickoff episode for this season. Joining me tonight is Jacob Padgett, and we've got a couple of fellows that will be joining us here in just a minute as we go live on the air with some Q&A time. Anyway, we got a little bit of news that we want to talk about and the things that have been going on in Gatesville sports, and we're going to talk with Coach Phillips about that. Coach Phillips, you're live on the air with everybody.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Coach, we hit the ground running this year. A lot of sports going on all the way around. We got cross country going. We got volleyball going. We got football scrimmages that have been put under the belt and in the history books, and getting ready to kick off our first season opener this Friday. What can you tell us about the excitement level of going on with Gatesville sports right now?
Well, these guys have been going for a while. Of course, I think all the sports that you mentioned were ready to get started, play somebody else, compete against somebody else. But most of those guys, girls, those coaches have been going for much of the summer. But looking ahead, next week, team tennis has their first district match, and so they're halfway through their schedule. Cross country has their third meet, Friday at Temple at the ProFit Invitational. The girls have finished second in two big meets in a row. Volleyball is 13-3 after a win last night, and then the football kicks off Friday. We've hit it running hard and hit it running about 100 miles an hour, but it's good. It's a great time of the year, and only going to get better too.
Well, let's talk about. Let's see. We got tennis. We had a couple of tennis matches already. How is the tennis team looking so far this year?
They're doing well. They got some spots to fill from last year. They've had some young kids step in, and do well. They've won 3 of their last 4 matches, and the 4 matches that they've lost to some other very good programs. But those kids are getting better. They're working hard, and they've made the playoffs in team tennis for the last 7 years in a row. So there's a little pressure there for those guys, but those kids are working hard every day and doing a great job. Looking forward to see what that 4-team district race shapes up to be here in the next few weeks.
We always seem to have state qualifiers when it comes to tennis, right? I mean, I think with dating back from like Sly and Sloan and
right,
or
Shy,
that's Sly.
Right.
So it always seems like you said they got a lot of pressure on her. Hopefully, we can get some more state qualifiers from the tennis program.
I hope so. And they've had state qualifiers for the last 5 years, and that's a big deal. And there are some kids there with great potential. Of course, the fall season is team tennis. You advance as a team and go to playoff rounds. The spring season is the individual. But, the hope is that we find a way to get somebody back to San Antonio again later this year.
Now, the interesting thing about tennis is that we have that. Is that involved in junior high now?
Yes, it is. And that's just the third year we've had tennis in junior high. We have good numbers there, boys and girls. And it's a great feeder program for the high school program as well. They get a chance to start, and they'll have a 6 or 7 date schedule total for the year, so they get a chance to go play and get some outside competition as well too. But that's been a good addition that we added 3 years ago.
Okay, that was my next question is how old is the junior high tennis program? Is that about the same age? Now, we have soccer in junior high now that's fairly new as well.
Yes, we added soccer and tennis at the same year, 3 years ago, And again, you want good feeder programs for your high school program, and having it at the 7th and 8th grade level, boys, girls, giving those kids a chance. Some of those guys grow up playing some soccer. A lot of them may have not. So it might be their first chance to go play in an organized, competitive league and district. But adding those two sports at junior high has been a big help as those guys cross the street and get to high school.
Yeah. Well, we got Coach Aguirre sitting here next to you. He's the new head football coach for the Gatesville Hornets, promoted from within. So kind of growing your own there, right?
Absolutely. Say hi to Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Tell you what, he's, Coach Aguirre's done a phenomenal job since taking over, last spring.
Yeah.
He puts in lots of hours. He leaves nothing unturned. And he's meticulous in what he does. He's got a great passion for it. He's been to a couple of other places before he came to Gatesville, but he's black and gold. There's no doubt about it. You can't question that. And he's like previous guys in his spot. He loves. He's a football coach, but he loves everything up there about Gatesville Hornets. From everything, athletics to extracurriculars, academics. He's big in the hallways, big in the classroom, and always has been. And you have to appreciate that. He's got a million things to worry about, but he is all in when it comes to Gatesville Hornets.
Well, that's one thing I've always noticed with him is a lot of enthusiasm and stuff. And we're going to get into a few questions with you here in just a minute.
Yes, sir.
But before we do, I want to touch on one last thing with you, Coach Phillips. Something that's probably near and dear to your heart: the girls volleyball program. They are kicking off their potential 23rd season run on playoffs. Correct?
They are.
Yes,
they are. And they've had a good start. They've won 13 of the first 16. They've played a really good schedule.
They've had some really good tournament showings as well.
They have, and those kids are, they've got some kids with some experience, but they've got some youth too. And the good thing is, and I'll speak, for Coach, that they've got 10 players and they're all contributing in a great way, and that's what you want to happen. They're fun to watch. They're kind of like every other sport. Sometimes you have a great night. Sometimes you're just scratching and clawing, trying to find a way to win. But they're doing those things, and that's what separates your better teams.
They looked really good last night. A little bit of a slow start in the first set, but overall they looked really good.
They found themselves in a 4-point hole, but they never felt like, and nor did the fans or me and Lee and Adam. We never felt like, they're gonna make this back up, and we even talked about it. And then as soon as they they caught up and went to 27, took 27 points for the first set, and in the second and third set, Gatesville left no doubt that they owned.
They did, and again, that's a sign of a mature team that can get behind, come back and win games like that. And from the volleyball coaching standpoint, this is their third, weekend of the season, 3 straight, as you know, being the father of one, 3 straight tournaments and weekends, and they'll have 23, 24 matches after this week already. And so it's a grind for them like everybody else, but they're off to a pretty good start. They really are.
One thing that was really cool is that that Austin tournament, they came away with some hardware. I mean, 5 out of 36, and we're not just talking about 36 bottom of the barrel. We're talking about 36 big
quality
5A, 6A teams. Bowie, they put up a good stand against Bowie.
They did.
So again, these girls are playing with great chemistry. They got to have good chemistry. They snuck into their coach's living room and pretended like they slept there the night before. My daughter actually got up at 4:30 to play that prank on Coach Weber. You don't play pranks on coaches that you don't like. So they really do love their coach. So that's pretty cool.
They're off to a good start. Glad for those young ladies.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we will reset, and we got a lot of more questions coming up, and getting ready to chat with Coach Aguirre here. Stay tuned.
Call Whip Building Supplies for all your building needs. We provide metal buildings and metal roofing for commercial, residential, and agriculture projects. We also carry a full line of fencing supplies and hardware products. Call or come see us at Whip Building Supplies, 254-865-2190 or 1411 North Highway 36 Bypass, across from Pruitt's Shell Store in Gatesville. We are locally owned and operated and proudly support our Hornets.
He'll be fine. Just kind of show him.
All right, we're back on Hornet Broadcasting here with the fifth quarter show, and it's time to talk with Coach Aguirre here. It's probably going to be nicknamed Coach Augie this year.
That's fine.
I like that. We got to do the Meet the Hornets last week, and it was a fun time. get to make your first introduction with the varsity football team. So how does it feel?
Extremely surreal. I was very fortunate I wanted to be a coach and a teacher since 8th grade, and it's been a lot of work, and there's been some setbacks and some awesome moments, but it's been, to see it come to fruition, it really is a dream come true, to become a head coach, and to become a head coach at a place like Gatesville that's so special to our family. It's extremely humbling, and at times it catches you off guard. This is a reality, and it's been really, really neat for it to fall into place the way it has.
How many years have you been coaching overall?
So going into year 19. Which is
19 years.
19 years.
Are you that old?
Sometimes I feel like it, sometimes I'm not.
I wasn't expecting to drop 19 on me. I was like, I've been coaching for 5-6 years or something like that. 19 years, wow.
Going into year 19, so small world and funny story. The defensive coordinator for Marble Falls, I coached him while he was in middle school, and then as he got to high school in Salado, and he's become a young man that I've helped to try to mentor and navigate through the profession. But it was really cool to see him across the field for the first time, and I'm coaching someone that I coached as a young man, and now I'm coaching against them, and I'm at that point now. So right now I've had more experience as a coach and teacher than a lot of the students that I'm teaching and coaching. Well, really now all of them. Now that's year 19, and the next big milestone is that I've been married longer than the kids that I'm teaching and coaching. So 19 years, going to year 19.
Wow. And now head coach, you're going to put another 19 on that one?
That's the goal. That's the goal. So,
it depends on the retirement program? Where's it at now? 90, 105?
105. No, it's not about the money. Really, it's about the kids. So whatever the good Lord gives us, we'll definitely take and run with.
Well, I can tell you, combined between the two of you, you have to really love what you do and working with the kids and the sports programs and stuff to put as many years as you have in it. 19 to
27.
27. Wow, that's a couple of years there. 27 years ago, what was I doing? I think I just got out of the military.
Anyway, I was in the 10th grade.
Were you in the 10th grade? Mm-hmm. So, what made you decide that this was your time?
It really wasn't, my decision, if you will. 3 years ago we got an opportunity to come here as a coordinator, and within 6 months of being here, my wife said we're not ever going back to a big city. I was very fortunate to be plugged in around some amazing coaches. Coach Phillips he's as supportive as you can possibly get, and he does a great job of helping out every single program. He's an advocate for every single kid in Gatesville ISD. I was able to work with Aaron Hunter, who I have a great amount of respect for. And then I got very lucky as a track coach to coach Carlo Martinez. And when you get the special ones, there's not much coaching. You just let them do their thing. And but with them being here for 6 months, my wife said we're not going back to a big city. And we were able to plug into an awesome church. Our two sons have tremendous friend groups. And it very quickly became home for us. And when this opportunity came up, I was very fortunate to get extended the offer to become the head football coach, and I took it. And so it wasn't really my choice. It was God's way of falling in place and letting it happen. So
you're talking about small towns and all that kind of stuff. One thing I love about small towns is, to me, sports hits harder, the community harder in small towns.
1,000%.
You go to Walmart, you go to HEB, you go to any local establishment here. Are you going to the game Friday night? Or how about those girls on Tuesday night?
1,000%.
You go to Dallas, you go to Houston, you go to Killeen, Waco, Temple. I don't feel like you get that. You don't go, hey, you going to the game for what school? Whatever, you know what I mean? So the small town, the sports just hit harder. And that's one thing I love about Gatesville. So I can understand why you'd want to, don't want to go to a big town. I think the small towns, the sports are just so far, far much better.
Well, on that sentiment, It was amazing to go to a girls' basketball game and see how packed the gym was, or to go to a volleyball game and see how packed the gym was, and you get to see the coaches that coach other sports outside of that sport, and they're there supporting, right? Our sons are close friends with so many other coaches' kids, including Lincoln, and they look forward to that. Like, we got to go to the game. Lincoln's going to be there. Now, they don't watch much of the game. They're running around, hopefully not tripping and breaking anything. But it's it's such a tremendous blessing to be part of a familial aspect, and we really are. We're a family at Gatesville, 1,000%.
So last year was last football season was your last year as being an assistant coach, head coach this year. When you look at last year's team dynamics overall and going into this year's program being underneath you, are there things you see or looked at that you like, okay, we need to make some changes here, or did you look at the program as implementing, let's expand on this and grow it?
No, I felt Aaron Hunter did a great job, and there were so many things that he did, and the reason I chose to come to Gatesville was the vision that he had.
Right.
We actually had several offers on the table for other schools, and what Aaron said, I could tell by his voice, there was a strong conviction, and he meant what he said. I mean, he was genuine, and everything he said about trying to become a family and putting kids first and doing right by kids and pushing kids to grow them into young people, those were all things that were tenement to who I believe we should be as coaches. And when I got here, I saw that carried out. And so when you see the foundation that's being laid and you agree with a lot of what's happening, there's not major changes that you want to make. There's adjustments, sure, but everything that he preached, I'm going to continue to echo and try to expand on. One thing that I've put a big emphasis on is the aspect of being a family. Like, we're going to be with each other through the awesome times, and we're going to be with each other when things are hard. And there's going to be disagreements, and we're going to handle that like a family. Like, there's not going to be secrets. We're going to handle it and resolve it quickly, because at the end of the day, we've got to be for each other. We got to live for each other. We got to play for each other. And at the end of every Friday night, if we don't leave everything on that field, then we're doing a disservice to our community.
Kind of one of those ideas that every victory is a team victory and every loss is a team loss. Individuals
1,000%.
don't win and individuals don't lose, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I dig that. What do you got?
So, Coach Gary, I got a few questions to ask, because one thing I want to brag on you a little bit. Carlo bragged, he loved everything about you during the track season, because as he progressed, you followed him one-on-one as well during the regional meets and state meet and all that kind of stuff, although he might not be a good example because he loves everybody. He really does. He doesn't have a bad thing to say about anything. But I've seen you in track. I've seen you coach Little League in the summertime. In fact, his team that he coached knocked my son's team out of the playoffs this year, but it's not a big deal. We're not going to talk about that.
I'm sorry about that.
I'm still a little sore from that. I'm kidding, but I get impressed that you. I think I even asked you. I said you're coaching Little League in the summer that you're about to engulf yourself as a head football coach. I was very, very impressed with that. It shows that you love your job. So last year's team not only believed in the Hornet fight never dies, but they showed it on the field. I mean, they were down multiple scores, particularly against Conley. And what they do, they come back, and it took a blocked field goal to win that game and get in the playoffs. What has this year's squad shown you that there's something special in the making that you're expecting to see this year?
I think it's a continuation of that. And last year, at the brink of last year, we were on the outside looking in. We dropped the first two district games. The last non-district game was Burnett. We lost a tough one there. Then you go and play La Vega, and we kept it close, and then kind of pulled it at the very end. And then you lose a game that we could have been a coin flip and gone the other way against Lorena. And what I love about coaching and what I love about sports is when things suck, they suck for everyone. The players want to win, the coaches want to win, and everyone wants the same thing, but it's how do you get there, right? And you could just feel that there was like this angst and this, what are we going to do to get us out of this hole? Because we got ourselves here, and the only ones that can get us out is each other. And so that common mission of how do we do that, go out there and you beat China Spring. And then the Conley game was unreal. And you talk about Hornet fight never dies. You're down 20 points in the fourth quarter, and it becomes, you just chip away, and you chip away, and you stay the course, and you stay the course. Completely awe-inspiring to see that happen. And what I've seen from this current group of players, that mantra and that mindset is definitely carrying over. And when you have, a Gary Keaton who's been tested by fire and had, a really tough game against Taylor his first year in Friday Night Lights, and then you see how he finished against, Conley, how he played against Madisonville, how he played against West Columbia, and how he played against Sealy. That he's been through those, He knows what it means to, the fight's never done until the final whistle blows. And then you have an Amos Phillips who's going to give you everything he has. So we have built a culture where, we may not be the fastest, we may not be the strongest, we're not going to be the biggest, but by God, we're going to freaking fight for each other. And we actually had our captain's meeting about an hour ago, and that was what we talked about, was, guys, we're going to live for each other, we're going to breathe for each other, we're going to be about each other, because each other is all we have when we go into these games.
Yeah, it's one thing to talk about it, but they showed it on the field. It was just one thing I was telling Lee and Adam. We couldn't even hold our composure and be professional when that field goal block happened. It was just.
I think we blew some mics.
We did, along with the rest of the fans. But it's just, it's one of those, one score at a time. You're never out of it. Well, they believe it in a very, very meaningful game. So it's very, very impressive. Very, very impressive to watch. What do you feel will be the biggest challenges this year?
A is our district. And what I love about our district is, if you find a way to make it in the playoffs, you're ready. And we saw that against Madisonville. You look back when Madisonville was in our district, they beat us pretty handily. And then you go through our gauntlet of the district teams that we had to play. You are tested. Every team in our district is very well coached. They're going to have good athletes. They're going to be tough teams, and it presses you as a coach to, are we putting our kids in the best position possible to be successful? And as a player, you are being put against a gauntlet. Can we respond and get back up and continue playing and continue growing as a team? And you saw that. And then we see Madisonville in round one, and our kids were not intimidated. Our kids were ready, and they were focused, and they knew the cost of what it would take to win that game, and they did that. They did an excellent job of doing that. Sorry, but yeah, they did a good job.
I enjoyed that win thoroughly. We have some distant family ties to Madisonville, so I really enjoyed that one. I think challenge-wise, though, whenever you look at the district that Gatesville is typically in, you can almost say that a team that comes out of this district is going to definitely be a team that goes far in the playoffs. And we've seen that historically time and time again, whether it's Gatesville going 3 rounds in the playoffs, or whether it's China Spring or La Vega, so forth. So out of the teams that are in the district this year, which one are you looking forward to the biggest challenging game?
It's going to sound like a PC answer, but literally to me, we can't get to step 2 until we get to step 1.
Oh, there we go.
I love that. Don't put any bulletin board material for anybody.
But we can't take anyone lightly, because what I've told kids is, yes, we can play up to people's level, but at the same time, if we overlook someone, we can play down to, or beat ourselves. And it has to be a day at a time. I think football is such a long season. The practices are grueling. It's hot, and if you start looking at week 4 or 5 or 6,
right,
well then you got to enjoy this moment, because every single moment is about, are we getting better? Are we improving as a team? Are we growing closer together? Are we embracing the challenges that we see? And if we're missing those, then we're not growing to the full potential that we need to in order for us to be successful at the end of the year. And so what I told the kids is, like, it's like the race of the quarter, right? You got to get out to a good start, and that mid-stretch has got to be perfect form. And you're running with you're driving your knees, you're driving your arms, you're controlling your breathing, and then you get to that last 150 and you just pour everything out. But it's a step-by-step process, and honestly, there's not a team on our schedule that I feel like, we got this in the bag. It's every single day we've got to push ourselves to, did we get better? Because if at the end of the day, if the Hornets got better, when you put day after day after day on top of each other, we'll be exactly where we need to be.
So what are your thoughts on the high schools having a bye week? And the NCAA has started allowing 2 bye weeks. If that was to go into high school sports, what pros and cons do you see of that happening with high school if they were to get 2 bye weeks? Good thing, bad thing?
There's always good and bad to anything that you potentially see down the road. The pro would be, it's such a physical game, that extra week to have kids recover and lighten the load up a little bit and let them get back under their feet, because you're going to get bumps and bruises. I don't know a single person that's played a significant amount of snaps that by week 5 you don't have something going on, right? You're nicked up a little bit, and that doesn't mean you're injured, but it means you got to play through it and find a way. Same with a distance runner. You get to week 4 of legit training. Yeah, you're going to be you're going to be sore. You're going to be tired. You're going to be a little nicked up. But I think for the athletes, it would provide that additional week of getting ready. But I think the biggest con, the biggest negative would be how much further does that push you into your other sports. In a small town like Gatesville, it was a breath of fresh air to see a Lawson Mooney who played baseball, was really good at it, and then ran track and was really good at it. And I got here, and we had numerous kids that did that. So I think at a small community like Gatesville, for every single program for us to be successful, we have to share our kids that are really, really good, because if we don't, then we can't be collectively successful, and that's the main goal, right? But I think if you bleed into other sports, then you're looking, okay, yeah, that might help out football, but does it hurt these other sports? And it's a long season, so if you add an additional week if you go to state, you're talking about 16 games. All right, well now you make that 17. All right, well even if you go 3 rounds and you're playing 13 games, well with a bye week you have 14 weeks. You add another week, you have 15 weeks of the season, and that's a massive commitment of time for the athletes.
I think if they ever did consider something like that, the only logical thing they would be able to do is they'd have to start football season 1 week earlier, because I don't think they could push deeper into the year. No. And let's hope that you'd love to have that extra week, for bumps and bruises week, but I don't know. I just don't see that on the agenda anytime soon. It would be just such a logistical nightmare for both of you guys.
Initially, when I first heard it, I think, man, that would be great because it would extend the season, kind of. But then you're right, though. If you're playing basketball and you're a star wide receiver, you know what I mean. For someone like me, it's like we want more. But then for those dual sport athletes, that does present a problem. When I first saw it, I thought, oh my God, this would be great. But again,
there's a lot of tangible benefits that we would see as a program.
But you're right about the double sport thing.
Yeah,
hit the nail on the head.
For us, we start practice at 6 a.m. and then we got to finish up our other side of the ball after school. And so for our kids, for 3 days a week, you're looking at 12-hour days. And now you extend that even longer. You want to have a way of taking care of your athletes and not extend it too long.
Got one more for you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
What is the one thing, and every coach got it, you don't have to sugarcoat it, what is the one thing above all that just drives you crazy during practice?
No PC answer.
No.
I really do want to.
I think when you take things for granted, so when I'm very big on communication, because what you see, it doesn't matter what sport it is, if the athletes are confused, that's when the holy cow, what the heck is happening right now? So if we see motion, are we communicating the motion? Are we talking about how many receivers do we have? Who's eligible? Who's on? Who's off? When those things start falling through the gaps, that drives me nuts. Because what I tell the athletes is, guys, if you can't do that right now in a practice setting, when the band is playing and the parents are roaring and when the crowd is roaring and the game is on the line, if you can't do it now when it's calm, you won't be able to do it then. So it's got to be, and that's a small thing. And sometimes the kids are, Coach, I said it. Well, you didn't say it loud enough. If I can't hear you over here, then you didn't say it. And that drives me nuts. And I've told kids, like, guys, I love you, but the expectation is we've got to be on the exact same page. And that starts with opening your mouth. So you've got to communicate. You got to be on the exact same page. We have to know there's zero confusion on our side of the ball, and that we know exactly what to do and how to do it.
Well, that's some good stuff. And unfortunately, this show has already come to almost an end real quick. But before we do, we got this coming Friday night. We're going to be facing the Taylor Ducks. We're going duck hunting. All right? So we're going to declare duck season on the Ducks. It is not going to be a duck dynasty around here, I can tell you that, folks. But
I'm anxious to see the sign at Higginbotham's.
Oh yeah, they have every week they got
me and Dave are getting ready to collaborate on that. But as always, every home game we got Hornet Radio reserved seats that we give away. Well, you got to earn them though, and earning them by answering the trivia question of the week. So the trivia question of this week is a pro trivia question. Okay. Let's see if who knows this. You can text in the answer to 254-216-3574 or post it on our Facebook page. The first correct answer wins. The Dallas Cowboys were purchased back in 1989. Whenever the owner and the new owner were sitting down discussing it, they came to an impasse. And the impasse was settled in what way for the purchase to go through? If you know that answer, text it in or post it on the Facebook page. The winner will get those tickets. True sports fans know.
What's your number? Let me text you.
Okay, and Coach, I don't know. I thank both of you for being here. Thank you for the awesome information and the chance to discuss sports with you. We always love it. Coach Aguirre, Coach Augie.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how often you watch the show, but head coach never gets away without a surprise question of the day.
Here comes that curveball.
No, not a curveball tonight. It's just going to be a quick yes or no question.
Okay.
There's a lot of talk of upcoming potential possibility of NIL in high school sports. Are you for it or against it?
Against it. Against it.
I like that. Quick, easy answer right there.
I like that.
All right. We're carefully watching that for the future and everything. I know that is that's a big thing that has a lot of coaches going all different directions and everything. And we've already seen some high school sports in some states have already passed it. And man, it's just one of those deals. A big question mark on how it affects programs and stuff.
Yes,
anyway, thank you very much for the answer. Thank you for
y'all.
joining us, Coach Phillips, Coach Augie.
Thank y'all.
And folks, be there Friday night to support the Hornets as they take on the Ducks. And as always, if you can't be there in person, join us on Hornet Broadcasting. Jacob and Lee, we're out.
Mugi Heating and Air is your local hometown heating and air conditioning professional. Whether it be new construction or service of an existing unit, Tim and his team of professionals can get the job done right the first time. Recognized as a Ream Pro partner, they have the experience and support to tackle any size job, residential or commercial. Give them a call at 254-223-0604, member of the Better Business Bureau.